And today's episode, I would like to bring in my two special guests, Russ and Bill. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Hi.
How are you, John?
Doing good, good. So we're going to, I'd like to talk about some projects that you guys have been doing. And then I see just from looking in your background there, Bill, that you are a serious collector of toys and merchandise.
I am a serious collector.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing that?
Oh my gosh, I think I've been collecting since I was a kid. I think my set was like those Mego action figures.
Okay. All right. So I can't wait to, as you can see, the new studio is not set up yet. So I have walls to cover this week sometime. So sorry about the background and sorry about my voice. I'm still recovering from a slight illness.
Hope you get well.
Feel better. Yeah.
So let's start off with Russ. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you do, how you got started and what you're doing, and we'll like to hear everything that you're doing.
Okay. Well, thank you again for having me on the show. I really do appreciate it. And hi, Bill Victor. I love you. So nice to see you again. But yeah, I'm a feature film director. My name is Russ Emanuel. I've done 5 feature films. The latest one is called American Whisper. And that one is right now on platforms like Vimeo On Demand, Amazon Prime, and Tubi TV. And it's basically a found footage crime thriller. And it's about a guy in an African-American family. And then the protagonist is a guy named Josiah Whisper. And what happens is, over the course of the film, his family gets murdered, and he sort of gets framed in a sense. And he has to try to prove, that he didn't do it. And that's really what the film is about. And it's based on a true story of murders that happened in New Jersey in the 1970s. So, I was brought on to the project by my producer, Howard Nash. Howard is the producer of all my feature films, basically. And we shot in New Jersey and in New York. It was, I think, July of 2017. And we just completed it right before COVID started, actually. So, at the beginning of 2020. And yeah, I don't know about you two, but there's no way I could have predicted COVID at all.
Yeah.
So it was definitely took us by surprise. But I think one good thing is, at least for people who want to see the film, a lot of people are now, more people are staying at home. So, with these digital platforms, hopefully people want to see a film like American Whisper. American Whisper is also something that Bill Victor and I have been working on. He is one of the executive producers of the film. So
now, is this something that came to you through your producer friend, or did you actually know about this story and actively pursue it to get it done?
Yeah, he is my longtime producer since like 2006, and it was his passion project that he had for about 30 years, and he really wanted to tell this story. And we did a feature before this one called Occupants. And Occupants was done in the same vein of the found footage style. Found footage, for people who do not know, is like the Blair Witch Project or Cloverfield. Basically the actors in the film can do what we're doing, stare at the camera. And the camera becomes one of the characters in the film in a sense. So Occupants really was successful for us. I know this is the geek and I, so we did have a Star Trek Voyager actor named Robert Picardo, who has been in several of my films, and he was an Occupant. So I think, having him really did help. But the film, it's like I would say it's a thriller, although you can say it's also horror. You could say it's sci-fi. It does deal with parallel universes, and it's for me. I definitely enjoyed making that film. And Howard really liked the found footage genre. So because that film was very successful for us, he wanted to do American Whisper in that same vein, and that's what happened. So he approached me. I guess he was happy with me directing, Occupants. So thank you, Howard. And yeah, he says, "Hey, Russ, I would love you to direct American Whisper," and that's how it came about, basically.
Now, is that something like you say it's a project of his for 30 years? So
Yes.
That's going back, if I do my math correctly, like the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something you would have to get the rights for from if it's
Yes, we
based
did.
on a true story?
Yes.
So,
Yeah. He actually did from the character that Josiah Whisper's based on before he died. So the actual person did die. I think back in the late 80s or early 90s. So yes, my producer Howard did get the rights.
oh, that's really cool to hear that something that long, that somebody's passion
Yeah.
has been going for 30 years and finally, just proves that if you care about something long enough and want to do it, it will happen for you.
Yeah, no, he might, and Bill Victor knows Howard, and Howard is a very persistent person, and he will get the job done. And I would not be here without Howard Nash. I would not have done 5 feature films. I would not have met Bill Victor, and I highly doubt I'd be doing the interview with you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Howard. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Bill, what was your roles in these features that Russ has worked on?
So aside from being the one of the executive producers for American Whisper, I really got to know Russ through the Assassin's Apprentice 2, which is coming soon. Salvador's of the Canary Islands. That should be coming out.
Yeah, the Salvadors of the Canary Islands. If our head producer Paul Hickman hasn't changed the title.
Yeah, and then there's a huge Star Trek connection because our lead actors were Armin Shimmerman from Deep Space Nine, Sean Kenny from the original series, and Tracy Coco from Next Generation.
So how do you
forget
know?
Gary Graham?
Oh, and Gary Graham, yes.
So how do you get these how do you get these guys to? You just call them up and say, "Hey, Quark,
I think you have to have-
you wanna come in and be in a movie?"
It's my producers. Again, I'm the director. It's Paul Hickman and our producers Howard Nash. Howard Nash again is part of that project, and so is Ryan T. Husk. And they both have connections to these various actors that they built over the years. So really, it's them. They're the ones who really put in a favor. Because these actors, Armin, Sean, Tracy, Gary, did not have to work on this project. So I'm very honored to be able to direct them.
And I was excited because I was just, let's just say, a fan, and I would always see them at the Star Trek Las Vegas convention for so many years. Then all of a sudden now you're actually working with them in a film is really exciting.
Oh, you worked with Tracy Coco. You should tell the audience about that, the Lunch Bunch.
The Lunch Bunch. So I didn't quite hear the question, but I do play a character, Mike, part of the Lunch Bunch on the Assassin's Apprentice. I am a retired assassin.
In the Canary Islands.
In the Canary Islands.
Was it shot in the Canary Islands?
Yeah. Now, we actually did shoot in the Canary Islands. Not for the sequence that Bill Victor was associated with. That one was done here as in Los Angeles. And we did a skeleton cruise shoot in the Canary Islands in September, which was the lead actress, the producer, and myself basically went out there. Now, of course, this is again pre-COVID. So Canary Islands, for anybody who doesn't know, which was me, by the way, I did not know until, I actually directed this film. But the Canary Islands is kind of a territory of Spain. It's kind of like the Hawaii of Spain, and it's off the coast of Morocco in North Africa. So it's maybe, 9 hours ahead of us, or ahead of at least me, in California.
So that's a long commute because you were working on on American Whisper at the same time, right? So you're going from the Canary
No,
Islands
no.
to New York and then back. You got some frequent flyer mileage.
It may seem like that, but we did American Whisper in 2017, as in filming, right? Filming is the hardest part. So filming takes up a lot of the time. Once you get into post-production, that's when you edit, you do visual effects, music, sound design. You could parcel that off to the other departments. And then I free up more of my time as a director. Then I can start working on another project. So in 2019 really was the year that was devoted to Assassin's Apprentice 2. We filmed piecemeal between March 29th and November 24th of 2019. So, yeah.
And I gotta say, Russ really, as a director, really draws out exactly what he wants. If there's a specific line that has to be said a certain way, he wants it done that specific way.
But wait a minute, you didn't eat that moldy pizza I asked you to eat.
I did it.
All right.
So they're eating pizza, and the pizza was left over from craft services, which is, the lunch, the lunch that we ate. And it was already starting to mold from the day before, but we used it as the prop. So I jokingly said to my lunch bunch, including Bill Victor and Tracy Coco, okay, go ahead, eat the pizza. You didn't eat the pizza.
I didn't eat the pizza.
So is this going to be on the bonus features on the DVD? All this.
I think that might. Yeah, we do have behind the scenes. American Whisper, same thing. We do have a behind the scenes, and you can see that if you even buy the Blu-ray, it is on there in the DVD. But yeah, we did it was maybe an hour or so behind the scenes for Assassin's Apprentice 2, and there's some interesting bloopers in the film. Yeah, and you get to see Bill Victor here in his lunch bunch role. You get to see myself, Paul, and Tara Page, the lead actress in the film, who plays Kaylee in the Canary Islands. I mean, it was fun. Trust me, it was like the Canary Islands was not even on my bucket list. Put it that way. I mean, it's not something that was even on my radar. And to be able to go to a place like that, wow! I mean, it was amazing. It really was. So, thank you, Paul, if you're watching.
Thank you, Paul.
So the Assassin's Apprentice, is that a period piece or is that?
Yeah, we should explain. So there was a first Assassin's Apprentice, again done by Paul Hickman. Bill Victor, did you contribute to that one?
I don't think I was in that one yet. I didn't get to
that one. Okay, so we did a crowdfunding campaign for both of the films, and both of them raised a pretty hefty amount of money. So I'm very grateful about that. First one had Marina Sirtis and Robert Picardo. Marina Sirtis was Counselor Deanna Troi. She was, probably just on Star Trek Picard, reprising her role.
Mm-hmm.
And then Robert Picardo. Again, I worked with them, I think maybe 6 times over 12 years, however long it is. So anyway, we did the first one, and the first one is basically about an assassin's apprentice. She has to go on one final mission before she becomes a full-fledged assassin. And our producer, Paul Hickman, is a big fan of action films like Run Lola Run or The Matrix or the original Star Trek series. So, we put a lot of touches of nostalgia in there. So again, he's a big fan of the original series and even the 90s Star Trek, anything of that era, basically. And it was actually quite successful and still making a round. So we were able to raise the money for a second one. We actually raised even more money than the first one. And again, Bill Victor was mentioned. We had like Armin, Gary, Sean, and Tracy. So the second one is a year later from the first film. And this time she's in the Canary Islands on vacation, and she has to go on a mission to protect a group called the Silvadors, who I don't really want to give it away, but let's say one of her companions is kind of like a drone robot, and it speaks a certain language called Silva Gomero, which is a whistling language in the Canary Islands done by the Silvadors. And she has to go rescue them.
And when is the release date for this?
Next year. It'll be next year. Right now, it's in the editing phase, and this one's going to have a lot more visual effects than the first film. So, yeah, that's going to be something. I mean, it was a very ambitious project.
Now, as far as I'm always a big soundtrack score. Sometimes I don't like the movie, but the music really sells me on the film. How do you guys choose the composer for a film?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. So I became a filmmaker, film director, listening to the music of John Williams. And John Williams is the Star Wars composer, the Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Jaws. Those kind of scores really rouse me. One reason for me, the composer is kind of like the unseen artist in a sense, that brings out the emotion through music. So for me, music is very important. I've been working since Occupants, and it was 2015 or so, with my composer Vasilis Melissus, who's based out of Greece. So what I do is I do a music breakdown. Basically, like, again, the composer or the music needs a character arc, just like the actor in the film, right? And they need to have a progression. So in Occupants, which is a found footage film, it started out with no music, and it just kept building to a climatic, blast, I guess, at the very end. So if you watch the film, I was very particular about how the music started to creep into a found footage film. With Assassin's Apprentice, we did, there was a cue, I think it was Q3 from the soundtrack of Run Lola Run. And it was so well done that I just like it's a kind of like a dance techno, kind of like a beat. It goes boom, 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 boom. And for a film like Assassin's Apprentice 1 and 2, we're going to pretty much go in the same vein, to convey that sense of, if you know the term parkour, people like jumping off roofs.
Yeah, the lunatics that jump off buildings. Yeah.
Yeah, or in The Matrix Reloaded, the score by Don Davis with groups like Juno Reactor, how they combine the orchestral and the techno elements together. I thought it was very fascinating. So those kind of things are, what I put into the notes for the composer.
And Russ is so picky about his music because he listens to so many maestros that it's really tough to say, hey, I think I have a better one than that. But I did get the pick one for our upcoming film, which was Routine. Which I was
part of that too, yeah.
So
do you want to segue into Routine, or
what is Routine about? Let's go full hog on your films here. what is Routine about?
So Routine is basically the start of this franchise that we're building, and it really started with this camera package I invested in, which was a 6K resolution camera that I invested in right before COVID struck. So COVID, of course, kind of shut down the film industry.
And they held up your payments, right? You don't have to pay for it during this, right?
I am paying it off for the next 3 years, but that's fine. It's and we decided to do what started out as a camera test, and it was basically just a simple camera test, and it ended up becoming bigger than that. So I got Bill Victor involved. You see, I don't want to give it away. It's in the horror genre. It's about a woman. She's in a routine. She's stuck in a rut because there's a pandemic happening. So, of course, we kind of bring in what's happening in the contemporary world of 2020. But it's not what you think. It really is not what you think because, again, it's in the horror genre. But
I was so happy that Russ brought me in. It was kind of cool to actually work with him on this specific film. I mean, because one, I got input in making the poster. That was kind of cool.
Yes, you did. Thank you for that.
And then it was good. And then with the music, I've been listening to so much local music talent here in Alameda that I said, hey, I think my high school friend has the perfect song to go with Routine. And I know Russ was listening to so many different songs, and he said, well, listen to this one. And I thought, well, how about this one from Live to Love, which is my high school friend's band. And I said, how about this? And he really liked it a lot. It was Over the Moon by Tommy Huxley and Anna Marie Escobar.
It was so well done. And it inspired the third act of the film, which was drawn by our Occupants comic book artist called Dave Beatty, based out of Arizona. He actually drew for DC and Marvel Comics. So he's actual professional, comic book artist. And because I worked together with him on Occupants, the feature Occupants, he says, you know what, he liked where I was going, and I tied it together with the song, and it works so well together. The song's called "To the Moon and Back," and it just like it just works so well. So
it was
yeah.
perfect. And
So
I think
Bill Victor here, he's been very helpful with the making of Routine, and we are doing more than Routine. So by the way, Routine just a week ago got into one of the top genre festivals, film festivals in the country.
Oh, very cool.
It's called Film Quest. And Film Quest, to be honest, has been on my bucket list as one of the film festivals to try to get into. And they accepted this film, which again started out as just a camera test, but it became that much bigger. And my longtime producing partner, filmmaking partner, I should say, Emil Harris and I, who started out on a film called Girl with Gun, way before I did any of my feature films. Anyway, we are both putting together this franchise, and Bill Victor has been kind enough to, he's going to reprise his role, and he's going to definitely be part of the sequel. You could call it Routine 2 right now if you want. But
I'm really excited. I'm really excited to join Russ in the team. That's going to be great.
Very cool. So now,
I'm a fan of franchising. I'm a fan of what's called transmedia, which is across different platforms. Comic book, short films. Comic book tie-in. Let's say Cloverfield did that. I think what was called Kishin or something. They tied it into the first Cloverfield film. Short films like All Hail the King with Ben Kingsley was tied into Iron Man 3, about how he decided to become the Mandarin, or quote unquote the Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a real Mandarin.
Right.
Sorry to spoil that.
Spoiler alert.
but
yeah.
But it was a 14-minute short film that you could only see by getting the Blu-ray and DVD. So
it's kind of like those Marvel one-offs.
Yes.
Come off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And of course, they have the television franchise, and of course, they started out with the comic book franchise in the beginning. So, of course, Marvel is something that's been very successful. It's something that I look up to. I love their films, and I think it's just so well done. So, and they have a game plan: Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 4. And we're trying to do the same game plan. Of course, not on the level of Marvel right now, but definitely. Is something that I'm thinking about. I explained that to Bill Victor and to the other people that are associated with the project. So, that's where we are right now.
Very, very cool. So, Bill, how many films have you been in?
Gosh, I started out with just the fan films. And actually, before I shout out, here's our little T-shirt from the Sumner twins, my partners in crime, Joseph Kelly and Angela Joseph. Mm-hmm. So I've been working with them on upcoming films, which are Clown Motel 2, To Death Do Us Part, Compatible, a Screen Life thriller. We just started announcing a documentary on Clown Motel, so we're excited about that. And then also working on Appetite for Sin. So those are stuff that are in the works. Because of COVID, we thought, oh yeah, there's no problem. We'll get filming done. We'll go to post-production, but that's out the window. So we're just starting right now with starting to film Clown Motel 2 at the end of the month with all the COVID stuff in place to make sure everyone's safe. But we're excited about that.
So I was looking at your IMDb page, and there's this one that really interests me. It's it's called Time and Again.
So let me start with my first fan film. Getting into this whole film industry was The Human Adventure, a Star Trek fan production. We filmed that in 2019. Our director is David Chang. It's all our close friends from Star Trek Las Vegas that helped us put this together for a budget of $0. But The Human Adventure basically takes place because last year was the 40th anniversary of Star Trek The Motion Picture. We decided to put together a short film based on that. So our episode is really 15 minutes before Star Trek The Motion Picture takes place. And we got accepted into 3 film festivals. And it's currently on YouTube, which I'll send you the link to afterwards. But we were really excited about that filming. So that one is done. So then I play the role of Admiral Phil Curry in The Human Adventure. And we just started the second film, which is called Time and Time and Again. another Star Trek fan film. That one is shot more right after Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. So we're all dressed up in our monster maroon uniforms. We have a Captain Kirk. And it's also based on David Chang, who he plays the role of Admiral Nagura. So, and it's another Star Trek adventure. So that one, we're almost done filming, and then COVID hit. And so we're trying to figure out the most important scenes that we're shooting now are the battle scenes. And you have to do it within close proximity of people. So we're trying to figure out how do we shoot this film safely for everyone there on set.
Well, you can always do it in the original TV Batman, where they come nowhere close to one another, and they all get punched.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And just go doodle pow.
It's a little retro with the Star Trek. So we're actually very excited about that one. That one has a lot more CGI, a lot more dialogue, and it's really a two-parter. It's two 15-minute fan film episodes. And I just finished filming my roles in our third film, which is called Outrage, which is a Star Trek fan film. And I think it's kind of about me because it's all my fault. I don't quite understand what it is. It's another David Chang production with all our regular friends and fans who helped put together the human adventure time and time again. And then this one we're shooting really with just green screen from our homes.
Okay, that sounds interesting. So you mentioned Star Trek Las Vegas. Now, I have a picture here, and this is off your IMDb page. So I'm assuming one of these two is you. Is what? Are you Tosk or are you?
I am Tosk. So I love cosplaying, and that was, I think, the year before last. That'll be 2018.
I didn't know about this role. I've seen you in other cosplay outfits.
That is my favorite Deep Space Nine episode. Is Tosk.
That is the best one.
Tosk.
Yeah,
And
that's a season 1 episode, right? Season 1.
Oh, I don't know which season that one
I
was.
think yes, season 1. It's like the 6th or 7th episode.
Yeah, 6th or 7th. Yeah.
And then he camouflages, right? I guess he becomes camouflaged, or he can be.
He's like a stealth prey, and the hunters always trying to find him or kill them.
That looks exactly like him.
That's amazing.
Is that prosthetic makeup or
the appliance prosthetic is done?
Did they do a mold? They do the whole mold of your head?
Yeah,
like that.
I had head mold done several years back, and whenever I want to do an alien, we just go back to my mold and then put on all the stuff that needs to get done to make it happen.
That is wickedly accurate.
Yeah.
Well, I know, Bill, you have won, right? Like $500 at was it 2 years ago or was it
no, that was last year.
Was it last year? Yeah. So I know your outfits, and I think you played a character on Star Trek Discovery this time, and that's what you won for. So this guy does dress up. This guy knows how to dress up.
So you should see another photo there. I did a back-to-back win. So after Tosk, I think it was 2018. Last year, 2019, I entered Star Trek Discovery, Lieutenant Linus from Discovery. And no one had done that before. And again, we did the whole thing where we took my head mold, put the form through, and went through that whole process for the hands and the face. And people loved Linus. And I love Linus. Hopefully there'll be more Linus in the upcoming season 3 of Discovery.
Yeah, I agree.
But I won that for the costume contest as well.
So I have another picture here. Tell us what this is for.
Oh, okay. So to toot my own horn a little bit, this is my actual first award because of Russ, and it was for American Whisper. So it's like getting your first car, right? You got to show off the car, right? So this is my first trophy. And
this, I heard there was something about it showing up in the mail.
So instead of getting it at the event, it actually came through the mail. And then thank God Sam the dog did not run after the mailman, so he didn't drop it. but it made it safely to the house.
That's COVID. It's COVID. You know, we don't. It's a different environment. You don't go to the award ceremonies now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So, looking at your background here, I see you have. I see there's a lot of Star Trek characters behind you. I see a cutaway of the Enterprise D.
Star Trek stuff around here.
Yeah.
I'm an avid Star Trek collector. I have been all my life, and I started out when I was a little kid collecting the Mego action figures. And I must admit that my mom was always very meticulous in making sure that after I played with the doll, I put it back into the box. So they're almost like near mint conditions. I think that's how I started collecting all the stuff, was with my mom's OCD.
Yeah, no, I was never like that. I still say that the people who bought my childhood house are digging up a pool and they're finding Luke Skywalker that the dog buried in the backyard in 1978. You know, so.
I mean, I have so many. I'm just excited. I just got my giant box from the recent Star Trek prop auction that I want to just open up at a special occasion and see what all the stuff that I won from the auction. But I always go to the auctions at Star Trek Las Vegas, or if there's something that's unique that I want, I'll go ahead and try to bid for it or buy it. But Masters replica weapons, light up the posters, special edition collectibles. That's kind of me.
You have to tell John how many outfits you have.
Oh my gosh. I have more outfits than I do suits. So on my cosplay, I think I'm close to either 70 or 80 cosplay costumes.
Who makes are you a seamstress also?
No. I actually will send it out for consignment, have someone make it for me, a seamstress, or friends that would help me out. And they would help me out making the costumes.
The one outfit that I've always wanted was from Star Trek II with the fold down flap. To me, that is the ultimate Star Trek uniform.
Yes.
I mean, I do have the pull down one from, I think it's season 3 through 7 on Next Gen. With the Picard maneuver and everything, but
the Rathacon was the Monster Maroon. I think I mentioned that, but we have that one in our fan film, time and time again, and also with Outrage. But the one that I'm wearing, that I wore, it's from a Novos, and they make the most expensive costumes out there. But they're very detailed and very accurate.
Mm.
So, is there anything in this box that you wanted to share with us? Are you going to do that on a special edition of the show, or
do it a special edition because it's still sitting out in the front?
Okay, all right. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap this up? I mean, this has been very interesting. I can't wait to get those links so I can check out all the trailers and possibly jump on Amazon Prime tonight and watch American Whisper.
Yeah, Whisper without an H. This is actually his last name. Yeah.
Okay. Silent H.
It's not Whisper.
Okay. All right.
No, I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. I really do appreciate it. I know it's because of Bill Victor here. Who?
I want to say thank you, John. Thank you, Russ.
Yeah.
We have to do this now, right?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Live long and prosper.
Yes. So
LLAP by PALLs.
Okay. When let's see, when the Canary Islands one, when that's finished, would you come back?
I'd be very happy to. If Bill Victor comes back, sure.
Well, I'll have him. Somebody send him some rotten pizza.
Yeah.
It has to be moldy. I mean,
Moldy?
I
Okay.
specifically asked art department to make it moldy for him.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's his actor's motivation for eating the pizza.
All right. So I'll send it ground, 7-day ground. I'm sure it'll get
Yes,
there in
thank
perfect
you.
condition.
You're really in perfect condition. Yeah.
Yes.
Just for
Alrighty.
you, Bill, because I love you. You know.
Thank you, Russ. We love you too.
All righty. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.